Classroom of the Elite Season 2, Episode 7. And so many things happen in this episode that I'm probably going to forget a lot of things. I think I always say this for Classroom of the Elite. The reason being that the nature of the anime is simply too complex. I mean, what we have in every episode is simply too much. I mean, we get so many informations, and simply watching it one time, which is what I do, is not enough to get a full grasp of what exactly is happening in the episode and what exactly those things that happen in the episode will give us in the future, in future episodes. So yeah, too many things to talk about, too many interactions, too many potential scenes for the future, too many problems currently, too many theories. Yeah, but I hope I can say everything that I want because too many things happen. So I guess I'll start the episode by saying that, well, the episode started by them figuring out or hearing from their teacher, home teacher, that the next exam or challenge they are going to have is one called the shuffle exam, which apparently is at the end of the period, at the end of the semester. I don't know how they call it, year, semester, or period, but yeah, that is going to be their next big thing, their next big challenge, if you can call it like that. Why is it going to be the next big thing, the next big challenge? It is because, well, it is a game in itself, that exam. It is an exam, but at the same time, it is kind of a challenge that the school is throwing at them. Just like it was the game at the boat, just like the previous fitness challenge, this exam too will be kind of a mini arc, a challenge. And yeah, the students of every class D, C, B, and A will have to make a strategy, will have to plan, will have to do a lot of things in order for them to get the best result, out of this mini arc. But yeah, I think that will be the main topic or theme of the episode, us figuring out what the next big thing of the anime is going to be, at least of this, I suppose, second season. I don't know if this will fit in the second season, this shuffle exam arc, but yeah, that is probably going to be the next big challenge that Class D will have to face. And it may sound simple enough, competing against other classes in order who can get the best results and potentially trying to knock out some of other classes exam, but that is actually not the case. I mean, I think one part of this supposedly shuffle exam is easy, if you can call it like that, which is the exam they're going to have previously, which is going to be in the anime exam next week, which is in where they're going to have an exam which will determine who will pair with who in the shuffle exam. That part at least is pretty easy to comprehend, at least for the people in Class D, because I think at this point they have developed so much that they can grasp the minimal details that the teacher gives them. So yeah, they got from that well, depending on how they do in the exam, in the previous exam, that is how they are going to be paired. For example, the ones that does better will be paired with the one that does the worst. And that is why they also speculate that is the reason why not so many people drop out of the exam when it finishes the shuffle exam, because it is probably because the exam they had previously to determine who will be paired with who, it is done in a way where it averages out the the results both of them have. So one can have 100 and another can have a 0. Well, they have a 50 between both of them. That is how it is determined who will be paired with who in the previous exam. And yeah, I mean, that is a good speculation. To be honest, I was thinking that too. I was thinking the whole time that is probably how the mock exam does work, because yeah, otherwise there should be more people dropping out, because if two awful people or not so good in school were to be paired together, of course they have no chance of passing the shuffle exam and they both get expelled. So yeah, that is why there is not so many people dropping out of the exam. And like I said, that part, it is easy to grasp, but I think it is easy to grasp because at this point, like I said already, Class D is already pretty compact, pretty good, pretty smart, pretty good in understanding the rules and how the school where they at works. That part at least is pretty simple enough to explain. But the other part, like I said already, may sound simple, but it's actually not, because you might think, oh well, they are simply competing against other classes to see who can get a better score, and that's it, and whoever gets a better score will get more points at the end of it. But that is not the case, because one, they have to make the exam of the other classes, or at least of one, because they have to choose between one of the 3 classes out of which they have to make the exam out of, the questions I should say, well, which is basically the exam, to be honest. So yeah, it is more complex just because of that simple thing. But when you add the complexity of, oh well, how will the questions be structured and what potential questions can the other class give us, I don't know if they are going to tell the other classes who gave them the questions, who gave them the exam, who made the exam for them. I don't don't know if that's going to be revealed or not, because if it's not revealed, it is going to make things more interesting, because just trying to imagine who made the exam for you is a whole thing in itself, because well, depending on who made the exam for you, you can take it one way or another. For example, for class D, if you know the exam was made by class C, which is probably going to be the case, you know you have to take the exam more seriously. You need to study more. You need to study for trick questions and things of that nature, compared to if it was made by class, you know, A or something like that. Not that class A wouldn't do the same, but class C would do it more ambitiously with a more clear intention than class B or A would do. So yeah, that would be something interesting to see if that happens in the next episode, in a couple of next episodes, if they actually reveal who the exam was made by. And the other thing one needs to be aware of is that you can sabotage the other class depending on how you made the exam, because although the teachers will check the exam to see if there is no unanswerable question or something like that, you can still make a valid exam that gets a lot of people still expelled. So yeah, that will be interesting to see who makes the exam out of class D, or which couple of people make the exam, because if it's Ayanokouji, then yeah, the questions are probably going to have a twist to them, and it is probably going to be a really interesting exam, to say the least, to whoever class answers it, which apparently is going to be class C, which we learn in this episode, which makes the most sense, because they're trying to first of all get to class C to get promoted to class C. So of course the class that they should be targeting is class C, and also because it is the class that has been targeting them a lot in the last couple of episodes. So yeah, it makes the more sense to target class C, also because class B and A have more smart students. And one of the other most important things that we learn in this episode, and that will probably have ramifications for future episodes, really deep ramifications for future episodes, is that apparently Ryueen from class C, you know, the leader, found out who the spies were in his class, and it was the three girls that were, well, bullying Karuizawa, which is pretty funny when you think about it. Now they are the ones being used by Ayanokouji, which I will have to get, they are being used because they are being threatened by Ayanokouji, because you know he was recording the whole thing of them bullying Karuizawa. So yeah, that is probably why they are doing that, not because they want out of their heart. So yeah, it's pretty funny when you think about it, that now they are the ones that are in a tough spot. I guess they got what they deserve, and well, Ryueen goes all out on them. He even uses physical violence against them. He doesn't care if they're a girl or not. He wants results. And well, he gets a couple of interesting things from the spies, which one of them of course is being that Ayanokouji was one of the people that was not behind overall, but one of the people that was present, you know, in the whole previous situation that make them be the spies, along with the other person, which I'm forgetting his name, but you know, Ryueen starts to speculate in his mind if Ayanokouji can really be the mastermind of Class D. He thinks it doesn't make too much sense because he doesn't seem to be that type of person. You know, the aura Ayanokouji gives is of a chill, normal person. So yeah, that is too good to be true for Ryueen. So right now, he doesn't really want to believe that. He will probably keep it in the back of his mind, but yeah, he doesn't believe that at this moment. He will probably think it's the other guy that is the one that is the mastermind behind Class D. But yeah, already Ayanokouji has people behind his back speculating that he might be the mastermind of Class D. So that will be something interesting to see how Ayanokouji will react. Which of course, being Ayanokouji, that person that he is, he will probably see this coming. He will probably know that sooner or later the spies of Class C will get caught and will confess that he was one of the ones that, you know, was there all the time, and that is potentially the mastermind behind Class D. So yeah, of course he will have seen this coming. I don't think Ayanokouji is not that type of person, especially when it directly affects him. So yeah, he probably has some sort of plan in mind with this. He knew he was probably going to get a lot of speculation around him, so I don't know how he will plan around that. Maybe that's probably the reason why he's been saying all this time that he has a lot of more work to do now than ever, because he probably knew that he was going to be speculated upon on. So that could probably be the reason why this couple of episodes we have seen him having an inner dialogue saying that, well, now Class D and me are going to have a tough time, probably because he knew that was going to happen, because this is the first time he will really think about it that Ayanokouji has actually had the spotlight on him. We haven't seen him get the spotlight in this intensity never. And although it is not a full spotlight, because like I said already, Ryueen doesn't actually suspect of him that much, it is still much more of a spotlight than all the previous episodes combined, because until this point, apart from Karuizawa and Horikita and maybe Kushida, a lot of people don't know that he's really a smart person. This has been the time where he's been in the spotlight the most, where the attention is centered around him the most. And the other thing, weird thing that we got in this episode, which I wasn't expecting, to be honest, this is not something I ever expected to happen in the whole of season 2, was that Ayanokouji got a confession from a girl from Class D. To be honest, at first I thought that was a girl from another class, because you know, I don't really pay that much attention to the other girls, especially girls of Class D, because they are more of a background character than anything else. At least some of the background boys have more of a persona character than the girls. But yeah, I actually didn't knew she was from Class D. But yeah, she confesses, not so much confesses, but insinuates that she likes Ayanokouji. To be honest, she said that she likes Ayanokouji because she blurted out that, well, she saw him as a mature person, as a cool person, you know, when he was running. So yeah, Ayanokouji knew, of course, that she liked him. So let's see how Ayanokouji deals with that. He hasn't had that type of situation before where a girl basically confesses to him. And yeah, we get to learn at the end of the episode when he's talking to Karuizawa that he doesn't intend to do anything about it. He doesn't want to be boyfriend and girlfriend with her, with Maya. He doesn't intend to do anything about it, which of course Karuizawa is happy about, because I mean, at this point everybody knows that Karuizawa likes Ayanokouji. Even at some point she was hugging Hirata and she was kind of concerned of Ayanokouji looking at her in a bad way. So yeah, she kind of stopped herself. So yeah, I mean, Ayanokouji at this point, at least romantically, doesn't intend to do anything with her, but let's see if he intends to do anything else, you know, kind of use her, be a pawn or something like that, which their interaction will get more intense, because in the next episode, or not in the next episode, but in the shuffle exam, they were paired together. So yeah, they're going to have more interactions together. So we're definitely going to see more of them two interacting with each other. We're going to get probably more reactions from Karuizawa, seeing them two be together all the time. Also from Horikita, which we haven't had. I already knew that was going to happen. She was introduced in this episode and basically confessed her feelings to Ayanokouji, and then we learn about the mock exam to determine who was going to be played with who. I already knew that, tying those two things together, that Maya was going to, you know, be paired up with Ayanokouji, which of course she was. And yeah, let's see what story interaction that gives us. It is going to be something really interesting, because I don't really know what to expect from them two interacting with each other. We already know that Ayanokouji doesn't want to do anything with her romantically, not only with her but with anybody, to be honest, not even with Horikita, although he does praise her a little bit in this episode. She is in a way complimenting her, but at the same time it is kind of an insult when you stop and think about it, because he's saying that even humans like Horikita can, well, kind of make things work if they really stand by it and if they really work for it, which is not so much of a compliment, but at the same time it is, being Ayanokouji the person that he is, because Ayanokouji doesn't really expect a lot of things from them. So yeah, in a way it is, and it is not a compliment. But yeah, I mean, that is going to be a pretty interesting combo, Ayanokouji and Maya. Not something that I really expected to happen in this second season, in this episode, especially when I didn't even knew this girl existed. And we actually got to see Horikita blush in full frame in first square because of what Ayanokouji is doing for her, you know, helping her out, making her change, being more secure of herself and things of that nature. I don't know if that is what Ayanokouji's intention is or not, but if it is, he's probably not doing it because, you know, he wants her to fall in love with him, or maybe he does because he wants to use her, which I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, at this point we can already speculate that Horikita likes, I don't know if in love is the correct word to say, but likes Ayanokouji, just like Karuizawa and just like Maya. We just learned a little bit more about Kuchida from Horikita, that they met in middle school, and although they were not in the same class, she heard a couple of things about Kushida, that she basically wrecked the whole class she was in and it never got back together like it was before. So yeah, pretty interesting to see that she can bring chaos upon a whole class if she's not stopped. Ayanokouji is not surprised, of course. He's just basically emotionless the whole time, which is always funny to see when Ayanokouji is being explained or talking about, serious situations, and he's just there, all emotionless. Ayanokouji already probably knew that was the case with Kuchida, that she probably knew Horikita and that she was not, well, he knows that she's not good news. So yeah, that much Ayanokouji can speculate or already knows. So Horikita apparently wants to befriend her, which is really interesting. I actually thought that was not the case. I thought she was going to say, well, I want to distance myself a little bit from Kuchida, or in an extreme to say, well, I want to kick her out, which was Ayanokouji's idea. But no, I mean, she wants to befriend her. So that is really interesting. Let's see if Horikita can actually change Kuchida's whole attitude, which I can see happening, because I mean, she's twisted, but I don't think she's irreparable. Or maybe I'm totally wrong and she is not solvable. But let's see if Horikita can actually do that. I almost forgot, we actually got a new president, a new student president, or however you want to call him, which by what he said is going to be more important than people may think, because he said that he wants to install meritocracy to the whole school, which that line alone already says a lot about him, and will potentially be a thorn in the side of Class D. I assume he will probably play a more intense role, a more important role than people may think, even more important than Horikita's brother. So yeah, let's see if we can see more of him in the next couple of episodes. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I said everything that happened in the episode. So many scenarios, so many conversations from basically all the classes except for Class B, because we even got to see Katsuragi from Class A. If I forget something, forgive me. I will probably talk about it briefly in the next episode review. But yeah, I mean, that is my episode review for this 7th episode, and I guess I'll see you all in the next episode review.